confirmation, and they are 6 clear of Israel.
Told you not to sleep on them.
Yes, Don. It's going to be a long week. Italy second, third. Where do we stand on Poland? Don, are we sleeping on them?
I would.
Poland. 2 wins out of 2 for them, but the big controversy is all around Robert Lewandowski and the fact that he has been stripped of the captaincy. This is how he found out about it. I've been wearing the armband for 11 years and playing for the national team for 17. It seemed to me that such matters should be handled differently. Everything was communicated over the phone. It really shouldn't be like this. The coach betrayed my trust. For more on this, Mario, I'm sorry, I'm going to start with Gab. Just because I kind of want everything to be summed up here, Gab, because obviously Lewandowski didn't go to a couple of matches, had this captaincy stripped, and his take is, look, I found out, and the media happened to find out 10 seconds later before I even had the chance to tell my family.
That's fine. Your family who's so upset about you losing the captain's armband, so you react by deciding that I'm not going to play for this team unless you change the manager. This is rational behavior. I'm going to say, it was obviously very upsetting to him, and this is why he reacted the way he did. But it's also hugely disrespectful to his teammate, Piotr Zielinski, who, of course, was given the captain's armband. And he could have picked up the phone to the coach as well. Well, no, but he doesn't like talking on the phone and hearing on the phone that he's not going to have the captain's armband anymore. Look, I think if you're a Barcelona fan, you're happy to have more time on his hands. But no FA, no serious club in the world can accept a player saying, I'm not going to play unless you change the coach. Right? It's just not good practice. So I don't see how he's winning this one.
Mario, whose side are you on in this situation? Welcome to the show, Mario.
I think look, the situation, you're never going to be bigger than your nation, right? Because you always want to represent them. So that's one key thing. On that, I understand what Gab said. But on the other side, you understand also his pride is speaking. He had the captaincy for so long. He felt like the coach should have taken more time in the sense of I'm the oldest player. I'm the most, I think, arguably at this point, you understand, the most recognized and talked about player in that country. And for that feeling, I think he feels like, hey, you should have handled it different. Why do you give me a phone call? Why don't you just, we find a way to meet up or whatever? Because now you call me up. I'm at home with my family. The last thing I want to worry about is you stripping me off of my captaincy while you expect me to deliver the same for you. And that becomes tricky now. So in that sense, you understand. I understand the player, regardless if I also have to understand the nation, because we will never win from a nation. So on the other side, they definitely have to talk. And definitely if Lewandowski still wants to play a bigger game, then he already achieved so much, but I mean like a big tournament, he should go on and have that conversation, because if not, he probably will never represent his country again.
Let's not forget, Lewandowski said that he didn't want to play in the games against Moldova or Finland.
Yeah.
Physically and mentally tired. You're kind of setting yourself up, aren't you?
Well, in one sense, yes. I'll be honest, I think it's an overreaction from Lewandowski, but I kind of see his point. First of all, the game against Moldova is a friendly, right? That counts for nothing. You're 36 years old, you've had the season that you've had with Barcelona as long as it's been, and we've all sat here and spoken about how extended the football calendar is. So you sympathise with that side of how he's feeling. A little drained physically, a little drained mentally. And you asked to be excused for 2 games, one being a friendly. Now, I think you could just, if you are determined to strip him of the captaincy, or that's what's going to happen, he's not going to be around for a couple of weeks. Fine. You name a new captain. The team meets back up for the next international window in September. You sit down, and I still believe in the value of sitting down and having conversations face to face. You sit down with him before those games in September and say, listen, I'm not having you as my captain anymore. You're just at that age, or whatever excuse you want to use. But to have that conversation...
Is FaceTime better?
No.
Zoom.
Man.
Post it on TikTok. No. I'm not.
Actually put some filter on.
Right. I am a firm believer in just old school. Let's sit down, have that conversation.
Exactly.
This is my decision.
Yes.
This is why I'm making it.
Right.
And
The end
if
of the world, though, is it?
no, it's not, and which is why I say it's an overreaction.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of an overreaction. It's not the end of the world, but still, I'll give you a call.
Yeah.
And why?
It seems very self-indulgent, though. Self-indulgent from the player to say, "Oh, you phoned me while I was putting my kids to sleep."
So now, the speculation is that he says he's not coming for these 2 games, and the Poland fans are up in arms about it, and that prompts the coach to make the call, or the or whoever it is instructs him to make the call to appease the fans who aren't happy that he's coming. That is equally ridiculous. That is as ridiculous as anything here. Even as Lewandowski saying that he's not playing. That you are basing your decisions on fan outcry, that can't be. That will never wash with me.
What about as a teammate? How are you feeling?
What, in terms of his teammate? I mean, to be fair to him, I think he mentioned Zielinski and said he's happy for him that he's got the armbands. I think he sort of squared that one off.
He's costing you a chance of going to the World Cup, isn't he? Because this Poland side's
Well, he
with
is.
him in it.
Well, 100%. But if you've got a teammate that's a little bit disruptive and a little bit his ego's gone too big, then sometimes as a player, sometimes you think, well, sometimes we're better off without him. If he's going to cause a stir every time the training camps are on, and he's going to act a little bit Billy Big Time, and he swans around the place like he is big time. I'm not saying he is, but if that's the way he acts, then as a player you think, and you look at him, you think, like, what are you doing? Yeah. Like, it's about the team, it's about us, it's not about you. So I don't know why he's been that self-indulgent to take himself out of the equation and not play for his country anymore. That seems too far, it seems extreme. Why would you not want to play for your country just because you don't get on with the coach? We've all played with coaches we don't get on with.
Right.
You still play for your national side.
Mario?
Yeah, but I still think, you understand what Chaka said, I still think you have to talk to him. Regardless if we were,
When
when
you
we
talk
were
to him,
players,
he's not
you
coming.
understand?
He's
The
not
only
coming,
thing-
Mario. He's tired. He's not getting on a plane.
No, but I think, you understand, when we look at this situation, I totally, you know, I already said, you understand what I said about their nation, right? And I understand that. I understand the sensitivity of the situation. But you still have to be man enough, even if you are the coach. You know you're in charge. You dictate everything, regardless of what he wants to do. Because what you guys said, yeah, of course. If you have a difficulty in a team, you don't want to take him on because you got to be away for a couple of weeks. And the last thing you want is having someone in your team that is going to go against the current of where the team is traveling to. So that you don't want, but you got to sit him down. Come on, sit down with him. Tell the guy face to face and tell him, you understand? Like, and sometimes we hide behind a phone call. And that is the thing that I don't like.
I think where
And I'm gonna tell
Lewandowski's
you that
probably
I don't
got
like
the
hiding behind a phone call.
I think where Lewandowski's probably got the is once the phone call's been made and he's been told that he's been stripped the captaincy, then he's had no time to either say it his way before the press have got hold of it. So he's probably thinking, why have you gone to the press and told the press within 5 minutes of our phone call? Why didn't you give it a little bit more time for me to explain what's happened? That's probably where he seems or feels though he's being deceived a little bit.
Last word on this, you, Gab.
Yeah, no, I don't follow. Like, so the coach should have him come to the national team, and then when he's there, be like, "Surprise, you're no longer captain." I mean, I don't follow this. Jules today of the Gab Jules Show was reminded me that in the last 2 major tournaments that Lewandowski showed up with Poland, he scored as many goals as Xhaka did in those tournaments, which is a big fat 0.
Well done, Shaq.
Yeah.
You know, so
for a new contract.
Let's be realistic. When he plays for Barcelona, he's been one kind of player of late. The man turning 37 this summer, I believe. You know, also because he's a good pro and it's warmer and he's got Rafinha and Lamine Yamal and Pedri to set him up and they play a certain way for him. When he plays with the national team, he's got different players. It's a different setting. And so to expect everything to be, you know, expect you to be forever young, to be captain forever. He's going to be 38 years old in 2026 or thereabouts. I think somebody needs a bit of a reality check here.